Hey guys, here's Martin. Today we are taking a look at the SQL injection attack listing the database contents on non-Oracle databases. So this is a bit more sophisticated than the previous labs. So effectively we know, for example, that it's a non-Oracle database from reconnaissance, and we may have also obtained, or we assume that the database contains a table that holds usernames and passwords. However, we do not need, we don't know at this point in time the table name, and we also don't know the column names, right? So we need to extract this. So first and foremost, before even starting, let's head over to the SQL injection cheat sheet from Portswigger, and there you can see basically what commands we need to use. There's basically in Microsoft, for example, or in Postgres or in MySQL, there is something called an information schema.tables, which basically lists you the tables, and then you can work yourself through that and then launch subsequent queries. So it's always good to refer back to here to construct your attack. Let's go over to our application and let's go to the gift section, select gifts here, and simply send this over to repeater as before, right? So we do this, and then we hit send, and you can see this is fine. If I put a tick at the end, I get a 500 server error, which is also fine. So in this sheet here, I have constructed like a couple of commands, and we will go through them one by one. So the first thing I'm going to try is, well, I'm enumerating the number of columns, right? So in this case, I already know it's 2. If I would remove 1 here, then it will give me an error. So this is one of the earlier labs we have completely done, explained that. This was like my first try. And then I also want to see if any of these 2 can actually hold string data, right? So I'm trying that as well, and hit send, and yes, I'm able to retrieve the content here, A, B, C, D, E, F. So those are my first tests. So both of them can be used for data exfiltration. Now we launch the union selected tab, where we say union select table underscore name plus nil. So that's basically the second column will be nil. So we are extracting into the first column, and then from information underscore schema dot tables. As you recall from the cheat sheet, that was the correct syntax. So let's put this in here and see what happens. And we get a 200, which is good. So which means our thing obviously worked. And now you can already see like the tables in here, right? Like you see, like there's a lot of different tables. And what looks interesting to us? First of all, I would say users looks pretty interesting, right? Like the users table. And it has like this special, not determinable abbreviation. So let's copy this out, and then let's put it in here, right? So what we are doing now we are looking at the column name, okay, from, and then second column is nothing again, from information schema dot columns, not tables this time, columns, because we are specifically looking for the column where the table name equals these users which we have just extracted. So let's take this command and put it in here. So it's always like a step-by-step process. And by the way, you would not do this in a real engagement manually. This is just for you to understand the different commands and things like that. So this worked nicely, and we are able to extract like a password column basically. And there should also be a users column, correct? And we put this in here. So now the next command I'm going to use is, I now say union select username. So I'm getting information out of this username column, and the password from the password column. Okay, and then from users from this specific table, right? This is the specific table I wanna extract information from. So this is once again, so I'm using both of my columns in this case. So the first one is for my usernames, the second one is for my passwords, and I'm extracting this from the table users, la la la. Okay, so I'm taking this and I put this in here, and let's see what happens. And if all goes well, I should be able to retrieve information. And let's go through this. And yes, I was able to. So here you can see this is Carlos and the username of Carlos. Here is Vina and the username of and the password of Vina. Here is administrator and the password of the administrator. I copied this. I head over to my web application, and then I sign in as administrator with those extracted credentials, and that solves the lab. So I hope this makes sense. And once again, you don't do this in a manual fashion in a real world engagement. You use a tool called SQL Map, which we will discuss in a later section. Okay, thank you very much.